You thought you were in love with a girl, until you realized you were in love with a walking invoice, or worse, an Instagram account with a heartbeat. She said she loved you for who you were, but when you gave her a bouquet, she sighed. When you gave her a Chanel bag, she said, "I'm so touched. It gets better." She said she loved you, but when you checked her story, she just posted a quote, "Always choose someone who chooses you." Right after you texted, "Are you asleep yet?" In this video, we're going to unbox 5 types of women who make you think you have a girlfriend, but really, you're just an extra in the live show of her life. Not to slander, but to warn. Because sometimes you're not dumped because you're bad. You're dumped because someone else has a better car. 1. The material girl. She doesn't measure love by feelings, but by the size of the receipt. She's not a bad person. Her frame of reference is just different from yours. To her, a bouquet of fresh flowers might be cute, but it doesn't bring the same sense of security as a Chanel bag. You could give her a sunny afternoon in the park, a deep evening talk about the future. But if it's not followed by a rooftop dinner with champagne and a city view, those feelings carry no weight. To this kind of woman, love isn't an emotional connection, but an unofficial contract, where you provide the lifestyle and she provides her presence. And if you stop investing, the relationship stops growing. Worse, it might get transferred to a better prospect, because for her, love isn't a journey of growth. It's a service package with privileges. I have a friend named Jordan in LA. He worked hard for 2 years to save up for an engagement ring. A small diamond, not too expensive but full of meaning. He secretly measured her finger, picked the exact style she liked, and planned to propose at the place where they first met. She said yes with tears in her eyes, took photos, posted to Instagram with the caption, "I said yes." 3 weeks later, Jordan saw the ring in a pawn shop. Not because she was broke, but because she traded it for something more valuable. Her exact words, "A new Rolex." "A long-term investment," she said. That moment taught Jordan a costly lesson. Loving someone who evaluates you by your bank balance is the fastest way to lose both your money and your self-respect. Not every materialistic woman will betray you, but when greed outweighs emotion, loyalty becomes temporary until a better offer shows up. Real love doesn't need to be insured with luxury brands. It needs 2 people who truly see each other, who choose each other for their core values, not their platinum credit card. Because love is a journey, not a bill waiting for approval. 2. The social media addict. You send her a simple message, "I miss you." Nothing complicated. But 4 hours later, still no reply. Meanwhile, her Instagram story updates with a deep quote, "Don't ever choose someone who doesn't choose you." You're not sure if that's a passive-aggressive jab, but you start to realize, in her world, online presence matters more than your presence. A social media addict isn't necessarily a bad person. She's just lost in measuring her self-worth by likes and views. Each notification is a tiny dopamine hit, and she needs those hits more than any deep conversation. You could be sitting right next to her, but if her phone buzzes, you'll have to wait. Because in her priority list, validation from strangers outranks connection in real life. I once met a girl in New York. Perfect face, refined fashion sense, and an Instagram feed like a dream. Every day she'd post a photo holding her boyfriend's hand, captioned, "Grateful for us." To outsiders, it looked like the ideal love story. But a friend working at the nearby cafe whispered to me, "Last week it was a white guy. This week it's a brown guy. Next week, who knows?" But the caption stays the same. She wasn't being deceitful. It's just that to her, social media is a stage show where real emotions are edited, color-graded, and scheduled for peak hours. The truth is, women who live for social media rarely show their true selves. She'll say, "I'm fine," but post gloomy quotes. She'll say she loves you, but refuse to post couple pics because she's avoiding drama. And you'll always be in the passive role, wondering if this love is built on trust or just filters and algorithms. A person who needs a crowd to validate their love hasn't truly believed in that love yet. Because when you're truly connected to someone, you don't need the world to know. You just need that person to know. The truth, even if it's not as polished as her story, is the only thing that keeps a relationship alive. Everything else is just performance, waiting for the next actor to replace you. 3. The flirty one. Flirting, to some people, isn't inappropriate behavior. It's an identity. It's body language used instead of greetings. It's eye contact held half a second longer than necessary, a charming head tilt in a crowd of strangers. To them, flirtation isn't about possession. It's about still feeling attractive, noticed, alive. And if you're dating someone like that, you'll need to learn to tell the difference between personality and betrayal. I once spoke with a bartender in Austin who dated a girl as beautiful as a movie star, voice as soft as the breeze, and a habit of calling everyone honey that made everyone feel special. One day, while they were in line at the supermarket, she turned to the cashier, a curly-haired guy, clearly in his 20s, and sweetly said, "Thank you, darling, you're so cute." The bartender stood next to her, forced a smile. She wasn't cheating. Nothing crossed a line, but her charm spread like perfume. The problem was, it wasn't for him alone. At first you think, she's just playful. Then you start to worry. Because you realize that look isn't just for you. And when everyone feels special, you're no longer special. You don't know if she's flirting by instinct or with intent. You don't know if that smile was meant for you or whoever just walked into the room. Flirting isn't wrong. Attraction is a natural energy. We all have the right to it. But if the person you love doesn't know how to keep the best part of themselves just for you, then it's no longer charm. It's emotional gameplay. A game where you're always on defense, always guessing, always doubting. And trust starts to wear thin, like candy sucked too long, no matter how sweet. It eventually melts away. Flirty people aren't to blame. But they need to understand a real relationship doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need a stage. Just one person who knows when to stop, who knows how to put away the seductive gaze and save that look for you. Because in the end, love isn't about being attractive to everyone. It's about making one person feel like they're enough. 4. The mysterious woman. She's quietly captivating. No showiness. Not much talking. Every answer she gives is just enough to make you want to know more, but never enough for you to truly understand who she is. And you think, this must be depth. But sometimes, mystery doesn't come from a rich inner world, but from things she doesn't want you to know. She tells great stories, but rarely about her past. You don't know where her family lives or what they do. The friends she mentions have never made an appearance. Whenever you ask, she smiles. You don't need to worry. I just like to keep things private. And you respect that, because you don't want to be controlling. But soon those little secrets start becoming big walls. No longer privacy, but distance. I have a friend named Caleb living in Seattle. He met a girl at a weekend yoga class. They dated for nearly 8 months. She was always gentle, a great listener, and never demanding. But she also never let him into her real life. On Caleb's birthday, he wished for just one simple thing, for her to be there. But she sent a short text saying she was on an out-of-state meditation retreat to regain inner balance. Caleb accepted that, though a bit sad. 3 weeks later, a friend accidentally sent him a photo of her on a yacht in the Caribbean. Not alone, but with her ex-husband. They had never divorced. Turned out Caleb wasn't the new boyfriend. He was just one small scene in a life she never intended to make public. Some people don't bring you into their world, not because they fear being hurt, but because they're playing multiple roles at once. And you're just a temporary backdrop in their layered script. Mystery, when not paired with honesty, can easily become a disguise for subtle deception. You deserve to step into a world where you are real, and the other person is too. You don't need to know everything right away, but at the very least that person should want you to know. Because in love, if someone always keeps you outside the door, maybe it's because there's already someone else inside. 5. The attention seeker. She walks into a room, and every eye turns to her. Not because of a short skirt or red lipstick, but because she knows exactly how to become the center, with her voice, her smile, and that kind of energy that makes you feel like the whole world is behind the camera, and you're the only audience member not allowed to look away. Being with her, you feel like you're dating a celebrity, until you realize you're just the backup lighting in a show that never ends. You think she needs love? No, she needs a stage. She needs compliments, recognition, emojis flying up every time she goes live. She needs to know someone, or hundreds of someones, are watching, are paying attention. And if one stops, another will take their place. Attention to her isn't pleasure, it's oxygen. Without it, she feels she doesn't exist. I once met a girl like that in Miami. In the morning, she live-streamed from her balcony, hair down, barefaced, talking about healing energy and self-love. Viewers flooded her with virtual gifts and hearts. But after the stream, I saw her open 4 chat windows at once, each one with a different guy, each being called sweet nicknames like Baby Sunshine or Kindred Spirit. She wasn't malicious, but clearly none of them were real to her. They were just selected audience members to refuel her need for validation. Not everyone who seeks attention is wrong. We all need to be seen, to be understood. But when attention becomes an addiction, the person across from them is no longer a lover, but a tool. You're not loved for who you are, you're loved for the role you play. The admirer, the applause, the one keeping the spotlight always on. Someone who can't live without the gaze of others, can't live honestly with themselves, and certainly can't love you with the quiet steadiness that love needs to grow. Love doesn't need a stage. It needs a private space where two people look at each other, not through a lens, not for the audience, and still choose each other even when no one is watching. Conclusion. Sometimes the truth doesn't come to comfort you, but to wake you up from a dream about the wrong person. It hurts, but it also pulls you out of a relationship that's been draining your value, bit by bit. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be rich, successful, or look like a magazine cover. But you do need to be clear-headed enough to know whose hands your heart deserves to rest in. Don't pour your soul into an empty wallet or a mirror that only reflects insecurity. Real love doesn't ask you to be a winner. It only asks for 2 real people. No roles, no competition, just enough courage to choose each other and stay. Thank you for watching till the end. See you in the next video.